Nintendo! Yeah, Nintendo. So, I found this on Amazon. It was one of their newly listed things. They seem to have been around for a little while, but this is a mini Snes. It's perhaps not entirely officially licensed, given that it doesn't say Nintendo anywhere on it. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. Classics, made in China. Yeah, it's not as licensed as it could be in any way, shall we say. But box illustration certainly does make it look like the UK design of the Snes. The American one was a bit more boxy and purple. I might put a picture of that in next to the UK one. And this does HD 1080p HDMI outputs, which should be interesting. Reckons it's got 621 8-bit games built in. So this leads me to believe perhaps it doesn't have any of the 16-bit ones. And that will mean it's NES games instead of SNES ones. But it does say Super Mini SFC, so Super Famicom, which was the Japanese name for the SNES. Super HD Mini Entertainment System, 110 to 220 volts, 9-pin gamepad. Okay, 621 built-in, not repeatable, and classic endurance 8-bit games. So they're pretty keen on the old 8-bit stuff. Yeah, not a lot else on the box, but we shall get into it. Come on, you open up there. I suspect what I'm going to do is plug this into the old capture card and perhaps talk through what it's like once we've got it set up. Box is pretty generic, yeah, not a lot in here. So we've got HDMI cable, which is okay, I suppose. Got a power adapter, yep. Crinkly, crinkly. Just a standard USB power adapter. Feels really cheap and horrible. Yep, that is that is indeed a 9-pin game. But hang on a minute, is that the? No, it isn't. I was thinking that was maybe a. Oh no. Okay. So it's a Mega Drive pad adapter, but slightly smaller. Okay, weird. Yeah, gamepads. Oh. Okay, so the D-pad is squishy and awful. It's clearly designed to look like a UK SNES controller. There's no markings of any kind on it. Yeah, nothing is micro-switched. It's all squishy pads, which I suppose is what you'd expect. D-pad feels pretty bad, to be brutally honest with you. Not ideal at all, but at least there's two of them. Yeah, not great. Actually, given that we've got the Mega Drive pad handy. Yeah, it's worse than this 30-year-old Mega Drive pad. Okay, USB cable, that's for power. Looks like it's a standard micro USB, which is okay. And the thing itself, which has no weight to it whatsoever. Yeah, that's about as generic as you can be. So this looks very similar to those sort of Raspberry Pi cases you get for Retro Pis. There's no stickers on it whatsoever and no markings of any kind. At least they haven't printed Nintendo all over it, but it's pretty damn generic. Reset button. Yep, that's a reset button and a power switch. Cartridge slot doesn't open. Okay, so it turns out you can plug Mega Drive pads into it. Yeah, we're going to try that if these control pads are just as awful as they look and feel. I thought they were slightly smaller, but I guess not. Standard 9-pin design for those, I suppose. Doesn't feel like there's anything at all in this. There's like one board, maybe, if that. There's no weight to it. It's like less than 100 grams. There's nothing at all to it. It literally weighs pretty much as these scissors do. HDMI port, power port, big red LED on the front, and nothing else to it. So I have high hopes for this. Ooh, built-in game list, cool. So, introduction to the machine's function. It has built-in classic games in total, which cannot be changed. So that means this probably doesn't have an SD card on board. Uses 5-volt charger, blah blah blah. Send AV cable which supports TV output. Well, it's not an AV cable, it's a HDMI port. But the reason I bought this is because most of these do use an AV to RCA cable, whereas this one does HDMI directly, which means I might be able to capture it. There are A and B buttons on the machine, which do not support running kickstart, so it has higher requirements on APM and operation, and the playability is also higher. If you'd like to take any guesses to what that means, please let me know in the comments, because I've got no idea. Never allow children play it alone. Excellent. Please turn the machine off. Oh dear, I think that might be the best advice we've ever received. Never dismantle the machine, because you'll see that it's bollocks. Who knows? It may be unavailable for some TV with 4K resolution ratio. Well, that's okay, because we'll plug it into the capture card. There may be some differences when connecting different televisions. Different televisions than what? Use HDMI? Very weird. Anyway, I think we should go and set this thing up and have a look what we've got. Built-in games show list. Where do we start? Start at 1. Number 1, Super Mario Bros. 3. Number 2, Super Mario Bros. 2. 3, Mario 10. 4, Mario 14. 5, Mario 16. What have we got? Chippendale, Bugs Bunny, Birthday Blowout. Number 24, Sonic. Okay, so we're not going for exclusively Nintendo stuff here. We're probably going for some ROM hacks as well. Yeah, I've just spotted 302 Angry Bird. I'm going to guess we're going for some ROM hacks here. Do we have any of the ones that use the enhanced cartridges, or any Snes games, or any Mega Drive games? Or is this entirely 8-bit stuff? Yeah, I would say this is entirely 8-bit stuff, and it's all going to be NES games and knockoffs of NES games. Cool. Might even be some interesting ROM hacks on here. Okay, let's plug it in and see what we get. Okay, we've got it hooked up via HDMI into the capture card. You've got this menu that goes into these little sub-menus with different games in them. Mario 10, Mario 14 there. So, if we boot up Super Mario, yeah. So, you'll see the title's missing, which is great. There's, yeah, weird smoothing effect applied to all the sprites as well. And the big obvious thing is it's in 16:9, and there's no way to change that. I've tried all the controller buttons and button combinations and nothing. So you're stuck with completely weirdly smooth sprites in 16:9 ratio. There is also a little bit of input lag. I don't think this is because of the capture card. I think this is direct input lag into the thing. There's also a little bit of screen tearing on vertical and horizontal scrolling, which is not ideal. The menu works pretty well. I don't really understand why they've gone for artwork that's nothing to do with what's going on, but you know. If we have a look through this 94 in 1 list, you've got some interesting stuff on here, but all of these are in fact 8-bit games, so the box does not lie, which is a shame given that it's in a SNES case. Robocop 4, yes, quite, and company name taken off again. Yeah, gameplay experience not too bad for this, but being horribly stretched certainly doesn't help it, and neither does the smoothing and neither does the input lag. Yeah, we've got Angry Birds 1, 2 and 3 on here. So let's boot up one of these. Okay, that looks very Angry Birds, and it isn't Angry Birds at all. It's a ROM hack of some platformer. I'm not that familiar with NES platformers, so I don't know what this is. Could be an original, but the screen tearing is absolutely horrific. It's, yeah, it's appalling, and I'm glad I've died. Well, last thing, I suppose we better have a look at Sonic. Yeah, I can only assume this will be some sort of Sonic ROM hack, Springyard Zone Act 1, and it's very difficult and the input lag doesn't help, and we're dead already. Excellent. You'll notice on the score and time there's quite a lot of horrible flickering. I have tried this straight into a TV, not through the capture card, and frankly it's just as bad. Time for a conclusion then. So this thing works alright, I suppose. The image is horribly stretched to 16:9 and there's no option for 4:3 and no on-screen display. The menu's pretty good, but it's mostly filled with ROM hacks and, you know, stuff that was never really put onto cartridges because it wasn't good enough, and modern ROM hacks like the Angry Birds thing. Yeah, the main problem with this thing, you might look at it and think, oh yeah, I'd pay £10 for that, or £15 at an absolute push. You know, it does come with 2 controllers, not too bad. No, £35 on Amazon, £35. Yeah, it's not great. Especially given that it's only 8-bit games and they're all unlicensed, the whole thing's unlicensed. You know, something like an actual genuine NES Mini is far better than this for not much more money. You could buy an old Dell Office PC for less money than this and run more games on it, and have more fun and a better experience. So overall, it's not great. There's nothing else on the box that's okay. No, nothing interesting on the box that we missed earlier. Oh, and Mega Drive pads don't work properly with it. I mean, they do work, but it's clearly a different pinout on the 9-pin. Because the D-pad thinks down is select and up is left. Oh yeah, and the pads, there's a little bit of input lag with the pads, which isn't great at all. Yeah, don't waste your money, basically.
Subscribe for more.